Welcome to Was It Good, the podcast that reviews movies and TV shows. Today, we're talking Apple TV's newest show, Silo. I'm Ravi, joined by my two brothers,
Arjuna,
Krishna,
and our producer,
Michael.
And we are Was It
Good? Nailed it.
Never.
That was the best one we've ever done.
Before we get into the meats and gravy of the pod, I do want to put a quick disclaimer out there. The show Silo is based on the book series, the first book being Wool. No one here on this podcast has read the books or the series.
I thought you were going to say nobody in this silo.
And that would work too. And our review of this is just strictly on the show Silo, and we are going to be spoiling it because we finished the whole season.
And if you're watching this pod in the future where there are multiple seasons of Silo, we are just talking about the first season of Silo.
Wow.
And if you are an alien species and humanity has left the building, we're human beings.
And remember, do it for the good of the Silo.
I also think we should state or just let everyone be made aware that Arjuna has just finished watching the Silo, like literally, an hour or so ago, and you binged basically 7 episodes in a row.
Yep.
Kinda
I want
nuts.
to go outside.
Have you been outside for an extended period beyond walking to a car and walking out of a car?
Nope.
Yeah, you really need to go outside.
Suit me up.
If we suit you up though, let's make sure that we put on some bad tape.
I like the good tape,
yeah.
the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Wait, so Arjuna, does that mean you were binging the show all night? What is
I
the
took a
binge
nap.
situation?
I took a 4-hour nap. I had some interesting dreams, and then woke up and did the rest.
Wow. Okay. So you started the show yesterday.
Yeah,
Is that
give
what
or
you're saying?
take.
Wow. So basically within less than 24 hours, you watched 10 episodes of Silo?
It's actually my preferred. I almost feel like it's my preferred method now to watch shows.
I mean, I feel like
all
the
back
show,
to back.
I think
it's fresh.
I think we talked about this on some random pod where we were like, is Silo a good show for binging or is it a good show for the week-to-week formula? And I think it's a good week-to-week. It worked. Where it kept the mystery boxes going enough that you were kind of curious and excited to see what happens, but you weren't so frustrated where you're just like, something needs to happen, because enough things happen episode to episode.
I think this is one of those rare shows that you can enjoy both ways, right? So I think it's one of those shows that is extremely enjoyable week to week because it is such a good theory show and speculative show that you can have the discussion with your friends, with your family, with yourself, with your mirror, if you would like, and just kind of speculate what's going on. And then even for the binge model, it's super rewarding to kind of watch it back to back, have all these details kind of reward you as you're kind of watching, and just pick up on those things in the threads as you continue to go through it. And I think even when you rewatch it, I'm glad I binged it, because I think if I watched it week to week, I would have enjoyed it, but I would have been like, okay, I want to watch the next one. Okay,
right.
I want this didn't feel like a chore to me. Binging, it was very enjoyable to binge.
It felt very similar to watching Severance, which you still haven't done.
No.
But you were saying, what were you saying yesterday when I was talking? Because it's the idea with everything that's happening with the writer's strike and the possible Screen Actors Guild strike, most likely we're not seeing a Severance season 2 till probably 2025. Yeah. And you were saying you'll just wait.
I'll just wait.
You'll just wait to watch season 1 until then.
Until I get as close to season 2 as possible.
Damn.
No. Watch it. You need to watch Severance as soon as possible and then watch it again in 2025.
I like to reward our audience, right? Because give everybody a little bit of different perspective. Because you guys watched it week to week, and some have binged it. I want to just I'm the extreme viewer where it's
You're the extremist.
I'm the crammer, if you will.
You're the Kramer of the group.
No, I cram it. I
Kramer.
cram
He
it all
just
in
said
as last second possible.
Stop it.
Anyway, let's get
more.
into one-word impressions, how we kind of view this show, the experience of this, how we would sum it up in one word. Krishna, you are clearly ready to go. I can tell based on your facial expressions, it's right there on the tip of your tongue. So
His lip is quivering. He has the syndrome.
What is your one-word impression?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with cast.
Oh wow.
First of all, cast top to bottom, incredible. Second of all, I thought the casting choices were really interesting because we had some big name or I felt some of the bigger names attached to this leave the show early. You know what I'm saying? And also, I didn't look at the IMDb or anything like that, so I didn't see who was top billed and whatnot. And so as the show went on, I was, at least definitely in the first half of the season, I was continually surprised as who I thought was becoming main characters were leaving. And, just I thought it was so interesting getting rid of Rashida Jones and David. I'm sorry, I can't. How do you say his last name? Phenomenal actor.
Oyellowo?
The actor that
Who played
Holston.
Holston Becker.
Oyello.
Yeah.
Aiello.
Yeah. Having those two characters
The
just
Beckers.
leave within the first 2 episodes I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? And it was great. The show is definitely a mystery box. There's a mystery you're uncovering week to week. And by not knowing who's going to stick around week to week, another one was Will Patton as Marnes. He was another one that was like, okay, yeah, is shifting to his viewpoint. Boom, he's gone now. He dies. So
The original mayor,
Yep,
she dies.
She goes as well.
In fact, I
Yeah,
think it's fascinating. Like all the main characters you're with in that first episode are pretty much gone by
the
episode
end,
4, episode 5.
and you
Marnes
don't even
kinda
meet
being
the
last one.
meet the main character
Very end of
until
episode
what,
one.
episode 3?
What, no,
Right,
you
or-
meet Juliette at the very end of episode 1.
Yeah, she's there from the
She's
beginning.
there. She's at the very end.
okay.
It's one
the
of
first
those,
episode
right,
ends with
you see them
her.
walking down to her,
Yep.
and then you see her. She doesn't say
Oh,
anything.
right.
You're right.
And you don't
Right.
really understand who she is until episode 2, and then it's really episode 3 and 4 where you realize the focus is on her.
Right.
But I think it is interesting though. Like, yeah, you lose. It's Mars, right?
Marnes.
Yeah, like you lose him pretty early on, and I did think he was going to be around as like the mentor character to her, and the fact that he's gone after episode 4.
I was the credits kind of tipped some of this stuff. Well, they did keep like Rashida Jones in that first episode in the
Right.
main cast, and David Olewo. Oh yeah,
We'll just go with David, okay?
David.
Yeah.
They kept David
There you go.
in the main credits for those first 2 episodes, and I think he was like special guest star in any subsequent appearances.
Right.
But like Paxton was always special guest star, so I was like,
Gotcha.
He's a
he's
goner.
not gonna make it.
So
is that what you thought from it?
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching. So Secret Invasion is also going on, and there's a similar thing that they did with some characters. I don't want to spoil that show for anyone who hasn't been watching. They did a similar thing for some characters as well, and where you're like, oh, this character's not going to be around that long.
Right.
So I noticed it for this too, and I was like, maybe it's just like his deal, and he's going to be in every episode. And I'm like, he died. And I was like,
Well, there you go.
he's dead.
Yeah.
That is why I skip those credits. So that
Oh, no
stuff
way.
doesn't get tipped.
But the credits are great because they look like DNA. They look like it's
I
a
watched it the first time.
silo to keep humanity's
Yeah.
genetics going.
Yeah, I watched the credits on the first episode, and then I always skip it. So
Well, you're not
Yeah.
a true fan then, I guess.
But you get the
guess
Paxton thing at the end. So like right when the show ends, I think those first 2 episodes it said special guest star Will Paxton.
It sounds like the Christian's very quick to draw, and we'll just
Or Will
hit
Patton.
menu.
Patton, I should say, not Paxton.
He hits
Yeah.
the menu button very quickly as soon as like
Wow, that's
it
good.
goes
Yeah.
skip. As soon as it shows, like I think the first one's like executive producer or something.
No, it's always. I think the
Is
first
it-
few were always special guest star Will
Okay.
Patton.
Well, then as soon as it goes to black, before it even pops up with text, Christian's already
Fast to the trigger.
he's out and he's playing Diablo 4 or whatever.
And for future
Yeah,
reference,
I
that's
get out of that quick.
dictated by how often they're in that episode. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're, in this case, you were right, but just I think for your future benefit, it doesn't mean they're going to be killed. It just means they don't have
I think just with the
much
context
to do
yeah.
with that particular episode.
let's take it a step further, right? So Arjuna has this now theory that
Every guest star will
but
die.
so Arjuna starts watching sitcoms, and sitcoms obviously have tons of guest
This guest star will die.
Oh my gosh, Kevin Hart's gonna die.
Oh God.
I don't think Kevin Hart will ever do sitcoms again, right? He's too big. Like he
He could
like
do
definitely
like
shows.
He could do like streaming comedies.
Yeah, that's true. I guess.
You know, like an Apple TV comedy or something.
yeah, he'll be in the new Shrinking season.
Wait, has he never been in an episodic?
What did I?
I'm sure
No,
he
he
has.
was. He was. There
He
was
has
like
been
a family
before.
comedy
Earlier
like,
in his career.
way back in
Yeah.
the day.
Wait,
But now it's
But
probably
he makes
not
like
as
that
much.
rock money. Like
but aren't these shows prestige now? Like, I mean, why would it be a problem for Kevin Hart to be in?
because isn't it? Don't you still make more money
a
on
movie?
the
Well, some of
movie
the
screen?
well, some of
Depends.
the streaming, some of these like the Apple TV shows,
right?
like you make good money. Like they give a lot of money out to like for the talent deals.
I'm also being I'm generalizing all actors when I
Yeah.
say this, but like I just assume you go for the roles that pay you the most.
well,
money.
and then I think we're conflating like a sitcom, like the old like laugh track,
right.
ABC, CBS, like King of Queens
All
type
in the
sitcom.
Family.
Yeah, like he's never gonna appear on one of those because like those don't even make money anymore. Those used to be popular, but they're like not popular really at all anymore. Some of the streaming stuff has overtaken that stuff numbers wise.
Crazy.
Well, that's a good little diversion.
all right. So my one word impression is going to be truth.
Ooh.
Because when we start this show, it is very much these people are put in a tube, and we are kind of given the idea that the outside world is not what they think it is. And we even throughout the show think that the screen that they're seeing is fake. And it turns out we were being shown the truth the entire time, which I think is very rare in dystopian sci-fi shows. For the most part, you can kind of figure out where things are going very quickly. You can make guesses early on, and usually you're like, oh, yeah, that's right, because, things are kind of, I was going to say rinse, wash, repeat. Is that it? Or is it
Live,
wash?
die, repeat.
I don't know.
Starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt.
Yeah, great film. But for the most part, you can usually like figure out what's going on. And with this, and especially that last episode, it was one of those things where it's like it feels like a gut punch, where it's like, oh, we were kind of being told everything.
I
for
want
the
to
most
challenge
part.
you. We'll get to this later when we speculate, but we still don't know what the full truth is, right? We only know a little bit more.
But I'm specifically
Potentially.
talking about what the people in the cafeteria
Yeah.
see, that monitor.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
That we know so far.
Sure.
Partial.
No, it
there's-
is.
There's
It is the
still
truth.
there still could be more though. There could be more layers to this.
Maybe.
I mean, that's interesting
It's hard
to point out.
It's hard.
but-
I'd push back on that because if you look at it from the what does the camera show you? So in the first episode,
Sure.
when Holston goes out, it's very kind of POV, very
Right.
tight close-up shots. We don't see
Yep.
exteriors in the sense of him outside of the silo. When it's him and Rashida and they go out, we see their perspective through the cafeteria monitor. While with Juliette, we see her. We're outside with her via
Sure.
the camera, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
what
they
we're
bring the
seeing.
camera
So
out.
I would say, like, by them showing and doing that, they are showing us the truth.
Somewhat, but they could be in a dome. There could be more. There could be more layers to it, right? I'm not saying that's what I believe, but I'm saying this show has given me enough like
Sure.
doubt as many things as possible. Where I'm
Right.
like, there could be another layer to this.
So
right?
then I
There
want
could
to fight.
be-
I want to fight you
They
further.
could be.
Then
They
So
could be
then-
on an alien spaceship.
Sure, but then dinosaurs.
Yeah, how do you explain,
How do you explain
the lack
that?
of
Yeah,
existence?
the lack
you
of-
can dissect you can dissect everything.
Do you think
I'm
there's
just
a
talking about within the
silo with
context of the show.
dinosaurs in it?
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
What if like
Why
it's
not?
actually dinosaurs that put them there?
That'd be sick.
Oh yeah.
And,
yeah.
these are actually like zoos. Each silo is a zoo.
Do you guys think it was us or an alien being that put us in the silo? Is that too far ahead?
I mean, we'll get there.
We'll get
I
there.
have
We'll have,
theories.
I think we have a lot. I think
we still
everyone's
need, we
got
still
some
need
theories.
our Juna's one word impression.
I,
I don't know.
I'm
Anyway,
just guessing.
Well, it wasn't going to be that.
what is your one word impression?
My one word impression is going to be also cast and truth.
Should be balls.
This show has the balls.
Mine was going to be layers.
Ooh. Like layer cake.
Yep.
Or
Uh,
I was just thinking that.
or a 3 onion layer dip.
Oh, that sounds good
Oh,
too.
that does sound actually.
Actually, I think we have like a bean dip thing.
Oh, I love beans.
Five
Let's go,
cheese dip?
Or 5. I think it's a 5 or 7.
Five-
cherry.
wait.
I don't know. Something.
What about
5-layer
26 layer
bean dip.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of food.
I'm hungry, so.
You
Actually,
hear that?
we-
If you're watching now,
Yeah.
go ahead and comment on what food you'd like to eat and come eat that with us.
We're also filming this on 4th of July, so America.
Lots of
Independence
drinking and
Day.
eating.
and
about to take
fireworks, and then recording the fireworks with a drone that you can strap your 360 camera to.
Oh,
happening
are you actually doing that?
Yeah, later today.
There we go.
Really? 360 camera on a drone?
Yeah, you'll see the footage. Don't worry.
And I'll have a drone to record what's going
Good.
on with the other drone.
With that drone exploding.
And
as a
then my
firework
drone will
hits
be
it.
recording Ravi and Michael as they are controlling their drones.
And then the janitors are going to be watching us through a mirror.
oh boy.
Oh.
Well, anyway, my one-word impression was layers, right? Because this show is all about the layers. It's all about the reveals. And I think beyond the mystery, beyond the setting and everything with the show itself, I enjoyed every episode just a little bit, another layer, going down like another layer within the story, within the world, within the characters themselves. I thought like for a 10-episode show, from where you start to where you finish, it was just kind of like this great master class of like layering, right? Just continue like world building, character building, even figuring out the silo and kind of what's going on and everything. Don't make fun of me.
I'm
Let
not.
me talk. You want me to, should I do this when you talk next
I'm
time?
just.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Jerk.
Why? What about levels?
Well, layer just sounded better to me at the moment. I mean, levels also works.
I mean, they're very
levels
big
actually probably works better. But
because
you
they're
wanna
very
change it?
big.
No,
On,
I gotta keep a layer because there is that one scene where they're celebrating Juliette's new shadow and they have a cake. Layers, cake.
Once again, your genius
cut.
brings it all together.
I brought all the layers together.
I think levels would have been better.
I like layers though.
But
Just-
levels because I mean, there's also. I
Is
mean,
this
with-
your one-word impression
No,
or
but
mine?
I'm hijacking it.
Do you want to change
Ooh,
yours?
hijack.
yeah, hijack. That should be the one-word impression.
That show just started.
Yeah.
I know. I need to watch that one.
And I
too.
was just going to say earlier, to go back to our old conversation, Idris Elba has mentioned that maybe making deals like that with Apple TV is not as great as it seems.
Oh.
I mean, there's a reason Apple as a company has so much money.
Because they're keeping it
Oh.
from Idris Elba. But yeah, I enjoyed the layers to the show. And I'm very excited to dive into season 2 whenever that happens in 2029.
7.
And I kind of go from there, but
It's true.
layers. Yeah.
So, are you going to say thank you to us, or
No.
when do we get our parade?
Well, there's no parade.
Today.
There's no parade. you
July
guys get.
4th parade.
I mean, it was our
you.
recommendation. Actually, we begged you to watch this show.
Yeah, if not for us, you would not have.
I would
this
have watched the show
experience.
eventually. I would not have watched it this quickly, but I would have watched it.
No.
You mean 24 hours?
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe
you
like over
said
the
you
course
really-
of like I don't know. I
I did enjoy that. I
You
did
did
enjoy.
enjoy
I did
it.
enjoy watching
Oh,
it
man.
So
in a binge like that.
Yeah, just say thank you. Say it.
You're welcome.
Say it. There. Oh.
just say it.
How about you guys thank me for watching this show?
How about we say you're welcome when you say thank you?
You're welcome.
I have a bigger question actually, because this isn't the first time, especially when it comes to this podcast, that you have given up on sleep
Sure. I'm committed
to watch
committed-
content.
committed to
so
the
my
pod.
question is, do you hate sleep?
No, I love sleep.
Oh boy.
Do you hate
He
America?
does love sleep.
Oh my god.
No comment. I want to go
shit.
outside.
I'm sorry, Julie.
We
Did I hear
all
you say you wanna
do,
go outside?
Arjuna. We all do.
You'll clean too.
All right, let's get into like I think some of the nitty gritty in terms of like the things that are happening.
Like what is actually on the camera lens that they clean, right?
dust
nitty
and
Dust.
dirt.
Yeah, but like what kind of dust?
I mean, are we gonna do like some kind of like get your microscope and like
Yeah.
analyze the
Wait.
the structure of the dirt?
It's proof that there is no bubble, because if there was a bubble, there wouldn't be air moving atmosphere the
There
way
you go.
that it needs to in order to dust.
Unless
so
they
it's
can
a
simulate
sign
it.
that there is an atmosphere of some
Unless they're
kind.
pumping in air, right? You know,
Right.
simulate.
What if they're all in VR?
kind of like
headsets?
Truman Show?
I mean, well, that's the thing. So Juliette proved, or what we saw at the end, is they have an augmented reality headset on,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And it also goes as far, you know, that headset or the helmet that she's wearing also has speakers in it. Because remember, when she's walking out there, she can hear the birds,
Mhm.
right? So there are speakers. So like whatever that tech is pretty advanced. And then I was actually watching like a like a follow-up YouTube video thing or whatever, and the individual was kind of like questioning the helmet and everything, and based on what we know with our technology, right, which you would argue that this entire facility, this show is based on real life human actual tech or whatever, is we don't currently have we have like some headsets that can do or that are fully wireless, like the
Vision
Oculus
Pro.
Quest or the Vive Pro, whatever. But they require tons of computing power, et cetera, et cetera. The idea here of what we saw at the very end, where Tim Robbins runs into a server room, right, and then you have the light shining on him, and then the next scene we see is her, and then her headset dissolves and everything. It's implied that he did something in the server room to stop that from projecting, which means most likely it's some kind of wireless technology. Something is happening there. But we've not seen any kind of like wireless tech. We've seen no antennas, no radios, no nothing in terms of like sending massive amounts of information like that. So that piece is kind of curious because just like with the janitor room and that entire sequence where it's like
that tech is more advanced too, with like the sliding door, because all the other doors were pretty manual.
Yeah, they're like bulkhead doors or whatever.
Right.
So there's probably
other tech.
There's like you've got your silo, right? Your silo's this thing, and then you got something probably outside the silo, right?
Oh my God!
Like watching the inner silo.
God.
Just gonna keep doing this for a while.
Stop. No, don't do it. Don't do that.
And then, when the steam comes up, it comes up at the top of the silo when there's too much pressure built up.
So it goes like this, and then
right. It goes, and then.
Well, so to Arjuna's point, right? There's definitely more levels or layers to this.
Thank you.
That are coming.
Levels.
The fact that Tim Robbins walks into a separate room,
right.
which the implication there that either he's the only one who knows about it or it's completely different than what we've seen in the show, right? That definitely implies that there's another step to what's being hidden from us and the silo itself.
Yeah, they don't show us what room he unlocks.
Right,
and I'm not.
We don't see what's
They
in
used
it.
the little
We don't
keychain,
see
right?
it.
He like
and it was blinking red that one
Yes.
time.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Why
Blinking
is
red,
it? Because the hard drive from there is gone, and that's, well, I don't want. There's a theory, but anyway, it's Ravi's. But the idea that 18 belongs to this silo specifically.
Right. So the 18 on the hard drive, the 18 on the keychain, the theory that I've been seeing a lot, it's not my original thought here.
Oh, it's yours.
I mean, I may have said it, but whatever. I think a lot of people think this, is that the 18 represents the silo number. This is the 18th silo and whatever. There's also people
we see
that,
a bunch at the end.
Yeah, so there are people that counted.
Oh,
shit.
There's 44
How many?
that we see.
44?
44. But remember, in that wide
In that
final
one
shot,
shot.
that's what you're
Yeah.
seeing in the front of the camera. Who knows
Yeah.
what's behind?
Yeah.
Probably 44 more.
And then I think also just to continue talking on that final shot and everything, and you also see that destroyed city in the front. It is, I think, we are outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, right, because the relic book is Georgia, right? Welcome, like a children's book for Georgia.
if
That's an
you
adult
were
book.
somebody who watched the credits, Krishna, you would know that a peach falls during the opening credits. A Georgia peach.
Oh, did not know that.
and when they do the funeral, right? Is that what they're biting into? Peaches.
Apples.
Oh, it is apples. Okay.
I thought it was peaches.
Apples, Arjuna.
I wasn't sure what fruit it was because I don't like a lot of those types of fruits.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
This is also, I think, one of the first Apple TV shows to not have Apple product placement in it.
That's going to be
What do you
season
mean?
2.
If they were eating apples, it was right there.
What, the silo technology is created by Apple.
What? Yeah.
Wait. What if they're wearing Apple headsets and that's the what they're projecting? when
No,
they walk out?
better. This
That's the
entire
Apple
show.
headset.
This entire show is a marketing ploy for the Vision
Apple
Pro
headset.
headset.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's why I was
Hate your reality.
Well,
Try Vision Pro.
So here's my question, and maybe it's obvious to
you only have one.
to you guys.
Just one.
Why project the
Control.
to give them something nice before they die,
No, it's all control.
and to make them clean.
Think exactly. It's to
I
make
figured
them
it was
clean.
to make them
But
clean,
no,
but I wasn't sure if
it's
there was
to
more
give them
to
a
it.
pretty thing. They're gonna die. They are killing them. They know that, so they give them something pretty.
Well, do they know that? It's very obvious that a lot of people don't know what is happening because, like,
the guys sending them out know.
Well, I don't even know if they do.
I think so because of the tape,
I
right?
think
they know
that-
it's
I think
they
Bernard,
know it's shoddy
I
tape.
think Bernard knows that. I don't think everybody else knows.
But that's
remember
the
he
control.
goes, she knows,
Right.
and then he runs
Right.
to check. I thought. Now it's interesting because I didn't recognize the.
Well, Common's face also is like when Bernard is talking to Common.
Common has no idea.
Yeah, he's like, "What do you mean? Knows what?"
Yeah,
like he
but
has
Sims,
that facial.
Rob
Sims.
But
Sorry, yeah.
I didn't notice the
Common.
correlation between the illusion falling and him opening the closet. I thought he opened it later, but
No,
I
it's,
didn't know.
it's Tim Robbins. Bernard opens the server room. You see a shot of him. You see in his
It's
glasses
blinking red.
tons of lights, like tons of
I
fluorescent
didn't
lights.
notice that.
And then the next shot is her taking a step, which I think is also important. Taking a step, and then
I thought she
image.
stepped through it, type of thing.
See, that's where it's like you.
But I
It's
thought he was
weird.
going to
It's-
check
yeah.
his tape. Like, oh, did they use the right tape? Oh, they didn't use the
Oh,
right
that's a good
tape.
way
Like
to-
that was his tape closet.
This is tape.
He's
But
like,
she
"Here's
stole,
my
Juliette
porn?"
stole the tape
Right, but the
from somewhere.
Well-
was it from locker 18 where they store the tape?
no. So I think the tape thing is she had no idea about the tape. She just thought it was tape, and
Well, no,
whatever.
Juliette, but
Yeah.
obviously
It's her-
Margie knows. or
Margie, her
whatever, knows.
mentor, was the one
Well,
that
she figures it
ultimately
out.
slipped Margie's tape to her ex-wife, who is in, I think, like acquisitions or
Yeah.
product
Supply.
supplies, and she's the one that swapped the tape.
Right.
But then again, that was all just a big guess, right? There was no.
Well, I don't know, because remember she gets
An
out of her
educated
apartment, like a big deal, and then she's like, but your tape is better. And she's
Right.
like, I know.
Yeah, and that's where she puts the pieces
I
together.
think, yeah, I
Something's
think
up.
they know by the time, but
Yeah.
um,
But I don't think Bernard had. I don't think he was going to look in a server room for his tape.
well, I didn't think it was a server room. I thought it was a tape closet.
Well, it says server room.
Does it?
It does
Yeah,
say
it just says
server.
server room.
Boy, I watched this like a hawk. Every clue did not pass by.
I mean, some server rooms do
There's a
have
lot-
like
a lot of
supplies. So I mean, it's not super out there to imagine that maybe they keep the tape there for whatever
I
reason.
just-
But that
I-
feels weird.
I figured because it was like as she was realizing that she like the tape on her thing, and like it was going through that realization, and then he goes, she knows. Like I thought, oh, she knows the tape is leaky. Let me go check to see if our
Gotcha.
inventory of tape is correct,
no, I think,
or if they use different tape. Like, oh, all my rolls are here as they should be, but this one should have been gone.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like that. Doesn't seem like
that's
that
not
would be
within his
job, though.
Yeah,
But I also don't
Like that
think that
doesn't seem
he's-
like in his scope. Like he would assign people to do that. So I'm with Ravi. I feel like he was going to check on like a different piece of tech to figure out.
I think it's
I
a
think-
season
What is
2
happening.
thing. I
right.
think it's something we learned
I
in
think
season
Bernard
2.
went to the server room to disconnect something.
Yeah.
But also though, but the other thing though, on why I'm kind of like hesitant to like be on that hill with that theory is the why. Why disconnect the imaginary
Yeah,
thing and
exactly.
show her complete destruction? Is that to scare her to like run back or something? I don't know. Like
Well-
what's the
Well, we
reason?
don't want her back. That's why you send her out.
She seems like a really nice person.
Well, and what is she gonna? What is? I mean,
Like, where does she go?
We'll get
Yeah,
into that.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
to that.
But-
I have some other
but
bigger
you
questions
make
I
a
want
good
to
point.
hit first. And the main one is like we're screaming his name, Bernard, right? Played by Tim Robbins. I have two questions for you guys. Does he know everything? And is he actually a bad guy?
no.
He's not. I mean, I guess this is a dystopian world, so like your definition of bad guy is there's always going to be layers to it because I mean they always keep repeating everything's for the good of the silo, right? So I think Bernard obviously ultimately believes in what he's doing, otherwise he wouldn't be doing that. So he's not a cartoony villain who's like I want to kill everyone.
He's not Wario?
Yeah, exactly. But he is an antagonist.
be.
Yes, he is.
Sure,
He is the force
sure,
that
sure.
is in the way of many of our main characters, and ultimately does kill most of them.
but isn't he right? Like if they open that door based
true,
on what
right.
we saw,
True, right? He is right.
and
Right.
they don't have the right tape over the door, everybody dies.
Yeah,
And I think that's one of the like super interesting things with the show is, and going back to my one word impression and truth, is that he is protecting some level of truth.
Yeah.
And what we were shown is, yes, if they all decide to go outside, potentially they're all going to die.
I think he obviously knows.
But then why? But the question though is like, why hide the truth from them if outside is not livable?
I think Billings.
Then why do you
shows
need
us-
to lie?
I think
right?
Billings shows us why. I've wondered this, and your question makes me say it's this. He burns the Georgia book because he can't handle the truth.
No, I think it's even more simplistic than that. It's go back to the silo's history. We know there was some kind of uprising, some
rebellion,
kind of
yeah.
rebellion or whatever. I would imagine it's people wanted to go outside.
Do we know?
I mean,
We don't.
That's what they
We
say.
don't know
It's
Is
anything.
the
they say
rebellion
happens.
the rebellion against the oppressors that put us in the silo?
That's another good question. There's a lot of questions, right? I actually read Billings burning the book as
Hide
I'm
the truth.
protecting my family because
Oh.
he rips a page out.
Right.
So like, if he really was just like, I can't handle this, he would have burned the whole thing. But I think he's like, I can't hold on to this, so I'm gonna burn most of it.
Yeah, I mean
kinda
that
go from
action
there.
really like confused me about
Yeah.
his character. I'm really confused about him.
Well, he's the new sheriff.
Well, he's
in
all about
town,
the
so-
pact.
Right.
He's all about the pact.
What is that? Is that like
What's
An
The
their
pact
actual
is a set of
pact,
rules
or
a
to
Bible?
keep
Is it
everyone
like
in
an
control,
an
like under
instruction
control.
manual for how to?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's their
No,
Bible,
it's-
right? It's like a religion.
It's a set of rules. It's a set of rules that everyone needs to follow for their society to function. So it's like a form of control, basically. It's like
Yeah. So where did it come from? Did they make it for the good of the silo, or did somebody write it as something that was originally meant to be less strict?
right?
and
I mean,
they're over-reading
everything
it?
that they do and everything that we're shown is just a level of control to keep order and to keep people within the silo.
Yeah, and I've always wondered, like, as I was watching the show, I wondered about like the time aspect of this show, because they kept referencing like the rebellion was 140 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And there was this one line that what was her name? The crazy lady, as we referred to her, Gloria said, like, had this offhand remark of like mind control water, right? Or like mind raising water. So then at one point in the middle of the show, I had this theory of like, oh, they all actually lived regular lives, and then their memories were wiped, and then they were put in the silo. And like and a lot of the stuff that you see was kind of false, which I think most of that theory is dead, right? Because of what we get in the final. But it did make me kind of wonder, like, they clearly have a huge level of control with the pact, with cameras in every mirror and everywhere. It did make me think, what are the other levels of control they have with the birth control, obviously, with the mating, all that type of stuff. What are their other levels of control, especially like with their food? Like, their food all comes from like the cafeteria and like is super controlled as well. So it's like,
Well, they have the option
What
to
are these
also
other
cook some
things?
food at home.
but I think all those ingredients are still like
They
from
come
their
from a central
farms, which are
place.
from like
Right.
which are still overseen by judicial and all these other
IT.
departments. IT.
Real quick, Michael, did you feel seen in this show with the
Yeah.
importance of IT? Because I definitely was like, yeah, fuck yeah, IT rules the world.
Yeah, when
baby.
Bernard was like, "Yeah, you create the power and you make sure it's there, but we make sure it
We-
goes where it needs to."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, fuck yeah.
I did find it interesting. I one recurring theme I did find interesting about the silo and the ecosystem within the silo is like everyone in every department truly believes they are the most essential. There's even a line I think early on where we're like, everyone does believe they're the most important, but actually, I think there's like a couple variations of that line.
Well, definitely between mechanical, IT says it. I think the judge says it at one
Judicial
point.
definitely
Yeah.
thinks it.
The sheriff's department, like, yeah, a lot of these departments are like, I am the most important.
And
So
which one is?
that's the right. That's a good question. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is
I
actually
think
the
that
most
it's a
important?
representation of the real world.
Yeah.
I think also like the show is a very good, like, one-to-one of working in a corporation.
Well, I
Wait,
just kept
this show
thinking
is about
how
working at Apple?
silos their technology, right? Like,
there you go.
I think the janitors are the most important. Clearly,
I mean, Sims would make you think
most
that.
self-important.
He says that to that guy.
they
before
all
he
suffer.
He kills him.
pushes him.
Yeah.
Oh, he tripped.
He tripped.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Speaking of Sims, we also get quite a bit with Sims and his wife when Juliette goes to use his computer, and the wife lets her go, and then they have that conversation, Sims and her, about basically one goal. Are we what do we think that goal is? Like, are they double agents?
I think so. That was my
think
read
so?
on it.
Oh, I thought they were a power couple.
My read
that's
was
what I
like
thought.
they want the power, but they want that power for a reason, and that I don't think that reason aligns with what Bernard wants.
But Sims doesn't
necessarily.
have any near as much information as Bernard does.
but he wants that information.
Well, he
I
does,
think.
but I mean, like, I think it's still within the silo. Like, they
I
just
think
want to
so.
be the top of the silo. And that, I think his speech about the janitor's closet backs that up, and that, that whole thing before he kills the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, when I was a kid, I went and did the...
Was that Paul? Was that the character's name
Who?
that he pushes?
Something
No.
like that. Paul, maybe.
No, I don't think it was Paul.
Probably. No, it's Paul Billings, I think, isn't it? And
Well, Billings was the
no, I know.
deputy.
I'm saying I think Paul is his
Is
first
Billings,
name.
right? Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's open for interpretation. That's probably more accurate. But there was just something with that scene where it's like there just seems to be more here. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I looked at it like she wants him to do everything in his power to take over Bernard's job. So I looked at it like this. The goal is to get to the top, to secure our position. Maybe there is more though. I mean, I think the natural question, the follow-up question to that is that last shot we got all these silos. Do we think Bernard is in contact with other Bernards from other silos, or are they all working completely independently, or is it a mix of both?
What if they're all clones and there's just actually just multiple
A million Tim Robbins?
Tim Robin Bernards?
What a twist.
That would be something.
That would be
That's
interesting.
how you can bring back all the cast you've killed off.
Well, I mean, when you look at all the silos, and then also what it's George, right?
Yeah, the IT
Juliette's
Yeah.
friend.
Friend.
Remember, George says something to Juliette in that video, and then Juliette repeats it to Bernard about the big door.
Right.
And when they're in the jail cell, Bernard and Juliette, and she brings up the door,
He kind of reacts weird.
he reacts super weird. And it's very hard. Like I've gone back and I've seen the shot a couple times now. It's very. It can be either like this is also why I think Tim Robbins is such a good actor, because like he plays it so well where it could be, oh yeah, that door, or what the fuck is she talking about? Like you really cannot tell what he's thinking there. But it's very obvious though that big door I think is how the silos are all at one point were connected.
I agree.
And
And I
able
was
to
gonna
move.
say we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
Season
'Cause
2, baby!
unfortunately-
Season 2.
Unfortunately, she jumped through the trash compactor and then broke her arm or something.
Yeah, she got really dirty.
Yeah, she's real dirty. Do you think they clean, like, let them take a shower before they go out? Or, like, I guess what's
Well,
the point?
Yeah. We never.
Why waste the water?
Yeah, that's true.
I want to know what the mines are. Do we know?
Oh, I was gonna ask that too.
Where are
never
they
seen the
digging?
mines. Yeah.
Moria. Mines of Moria.
Is it a lie? Is the mines just you go
Oh,
die
maybe
and
you
become
just
food?
die.
I feel like it because I
God.
think like you said, Michael, what are the mines providing, right? Because they've talked about the steam that they have no idea where it comes from being the thing that powers the engine. So like, what would you need to mine for? Like, what are you actually like material for what?
But also, like,
to make stuff.
mining though,
maybe
can also be digging. And yeah, and if they have people that are doing 10 years worth of digging, even if you are mining, getting resources, where are you going? Like, are you going down? Are you going out? If you're going out, you're
Yeah.
going to hit something. If you go further down, you're going to destabilize everything. So,
And you can't go up because it's deadly.
right.
So where
that
where
is a
and what are
good
they digging?
question.
They just rip their headsets.
And they're not trying to
Or-
expand because it seems like with the population control stuff, they're really trying to keep it at 10,000, right?
Right.
So it's like when
Yeah.
someone dies, you can fuck and have babies.
Yeah.
If someone
So-
dies, you can fuck.
Yeah, to the mine thing, right? It could be no one knows if the mines are real except Bernard, and Bernard knows they are real. Maybe the mines is like a central place where all prisoners from all silos go.
Yeah.
So
and
maybe it's
that's
like a
actually-
giant mine from
Right.
where all the scum of all the
And
silos, right?
yeah, and maybe that's where the steam comes from, is like the sweat of all the workers, or. But maybe we
Blood.
misheard. Did anybody rewatch? Did they say the mimes? Maybe they go and have to watch a bunch of mimes.
Yeah, they become mimes.
You want to go watch mimes for 10 years?
Mines. Oh god.
That sounds torturous.
That would kill you. Like drive you.
That would be something.
Before we get into like things like qualifiers, bowl predictions, that type of stuff, I did have one question for everyone that came to my attention in watching the finale, and specifically when Juliette walks out to go to the surface. So when she walks out, she goes into that first room.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of steam or smoke or something blown at her, and then she leaves and goes up.
Yep.
Okay. Usually, you see those kinds of things in sci-fi when you're coming back into a place and you're being decontaminated.
Right.
We also know like that space gets decontaminated anyway because when we see
The fire.
Rashida go out, there's a bunch of fire
Allison Becker. Yeah.
we see a bunch of fire. One thing that I was reading as a theory was the surface is fine. The poison that kills you is actually that steam that they're blowing at you before you leave to go up.
Interesting.
And again,
it
I think it all
gets
gets
in
in
there,
the suit.
and with the wrong tape.
Yeah,
With the
gets
wrong
in the
tape,
suit.
it gets in there and
Soup.
it builds up. And
Yeah, kills you.
I mean, because I guess she could just go to another silo, and that's probably the most likely. But I was like, how's great? So she's gets an extra 5 minutes before she dies?
Yeah, because
Like,
when they kill her, like as soon as she showed up at another silo.
well, no. Imagine that silo. All of a sudden, somebody walks up and is like, "Hey, I'm from another place." Like, I don't know if they'd kill him right away.
I don't think there's any kind of like protocol because, in theory,
Yeah.
the levels of controls and checks and balances in this place, it's supposed to be so tight that nobody will ever leave that little
That's
ridge area,
The
right?
crater. Yeah.
So they can't band together
Right.
in a big enough group to defeat whoever put them in the silo.
I don't think anyone.
They're siloed to keep them from rebelling.
Gotcha.
it's a
That's
silo
a
of their
theory.
own creation, like their own minds.
Ooh,
Like they could do whatever they wanted to, but the level of belief and control is so pernicious that they just won't. And Bernard, that's his job, is to keep everyone brainwashed.
All
enough
the
that
silos-
they don't do that.
Sorry. Yeah. All the silos used to be connected with those doors, like you said, and then they all got
flooded them.
together and were like, "Oh, we're going to rebel."
And that was
Yeah.
And then
they
the
closed it off.
oppressors were like, "Nope, we're closing it off. We're doing memory water so they don't remember the doors." And
I don't know if the memory water though is legit or if she's,
Yeah.
what was our character's name? George.
Gloria.
Gloria. I think because obviously she's on a lot of drugs at that point, so I do think that piece potentially could
That's
be
what they
like,
want you to think.
Maybe
The red herring.
maybe.
oh wait, is Gloria
In the silo.
the old midwife? I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the lady with the plates on her walls.
No, Gloria's the old midwife.
Okay, never mind.
Who's in the
Who's been put in the hospital?
Who's been in the hospital, right?
or the psychiatric
The
hospice.
Yeah.
right?
Do you guys think that the second, like, we talked a lot about the floating protagonist a little bit, or like the cast kind of changing over the first few episodes of it. It obviously settles in on Juliette kind of being the main character.
Mhm.
Do you think she'll continue to be the main character, or will there be like more? It almost feels like the first 5 episodes almost feel like a relay race. It's like you're handing like the baton is being handed off to
Yeah.
different characters, and it's kind of fascinating. It's like an audience expectation where we are getting like the most full picture. But like obviously, there's a lot. These characters don't have all the information. We're just getting the information for all these characters, and that's why like some characters, like Gloria, for example, disappears for a while, right? Because all the characters that interacted with her are dead after the first 2 episodes, and so we don't check back in with her until later in the story when we kind of rediscover her through Juliette, like reading Becker's Holston Becker's notes that he kind of hid. So. I don't know. Do you think they'll continue to do that? Maybe potentially in season 2, like if we do go to other silos, there are more characters, and it's almost like
I would imagine like why bother doing all this world building and introducing the various layers of this world if you're not going to kind of get the different perspectives of individuals, because I think it would be kind of silly and kind of boring if we just continue following Rebecca. Like I'm not saying like don't show Juliette. I'm not saying like don't have Juliette in season 2 at all, but I would be more interested in starting with the new sheriff and
Billings.
and like what's happened now that she's gone out and doing whatever, because we know he has a piece of paper. We know that the 2 individuals that Juliette used and had her help plug in and broadcast the hard drive and everything, they've seen things. They're still around. They're doing stuff. We know that they're connected to not a rebellious group, but like a shady group. her father is still around, and we also know that her father is also kind of shady. I'm not sure if you guys picked up on this, but with
Dr.
Bernard
Pete
talking
Nichols.
to Juliette, Bernard says, you're kind of a mistake. You were never supposed to be born. Her father, being a doctor, is aware of judicial's control in terms of the
Birth control.
birth control. I would imagine he took it out of her, and that's why Juliette was born.
Right.
So he is a little himself kind of shady. So there are people in the silo still that are probably kind of curious, like, okay, what is actually happening? And the simple fact that Juliette walks over the ridge, and everybody saw that.
Got it. So you just want to follow all the dudes.
And
Ravi wants to see the rebellion.
You
happening
want
in the
that-
silo.
you want that-
This show's called Silo for a reason.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that's how I would interpret it, and then we'll see what happens.
it was almost like the hard drive was the protagonist. Or I was also thinking the badge. Maybe
Yeah?
she'll give the badge
Almost
to
felt like it.
somebody.
Well, now it's just, I guess, on Holston's dead body.
Oh, that's right. She put ending the season.
That was actually in the whole finale. That was the thing that made me sad because I had the hope that
They were still
Holston
alive.
and Allison actually
Yeah.
got away, right?
Yep.
And then it's like the realization, no, they're dead. They're actually
there.
there. And I was
The
just like,
truth.
damn.
Witnessed the truth.
That stinks. That
sucks,
sucks. I was like, I really like those characters. I was hoping we could have come back to them, but I'm glad it obviously went the way it did. I think it's stronger for the story, but you get attached to these characters, and you're like, well,
The nice thing, though,
how do we resurrect them?
the nice thing, Lerman, with your statement about the hard drive being the protagonist, it's not dead. The actual data disk that stores the information is still there, still intact.
Oh my God.
So-
the most ridiculous part of this whole show was that scene right there. Don't even you know.
Well, I'm sorry.
Tell us, Michael.
You're telling me a hard drive, and when you actually take the disk out and you touch it and everything, it's fine. All the data's still there, right? Yeah, that's how that works.
Oh yeah, it's perfectly fine. That's why we don't need clean rooms to
You guys
go
just
through data
nerded the
recovery.
fuck out. Jesus.
Did you?
gotta go take a shower.
I definitely stood up and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Thank you.
That's not how hard drives
the only
work.
one.
Well, when they smashed it?
No, so like when you smash a hard drive,
The
and
disk.
Bernard has the actual disk. The actual disk, that circular thing, that is where all your ones and zeros are. Everything else in the hard drive is to keep it
Away from the
controlled,
air.
or away from the air. There's a needle that actually like reads the information. And what's kind of funny is like he's holding the disk, and to be fair, they're not saying, and nobody's coming out and saying like Bernard's not like, oh, I have the disk, it's still alive and still good to go. Nobody's saying that, but like it's a TV show. And they're showing you the MacGuffin thing, right? This thing. And it's implied with that shot, I think, like, oh, the hard drive can be fixed or data can be restored from it.
Well,
or
I think
whatever.
there's also like how many other hard
Oh,
drives are there, right? Like, because if he did go into the server room, I guess we can assume that was taken from the server room at some point,
Right.
passed down, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, like someone hacked it and then put it on that hard drive?
Or
Like
someone
the
took it,
original
or someone
information?
physically took it.
Well,
right?
if it's the silo number, then it's either that silo's hard drive that has all the
It had the
data on it,
schematics.
or it's another silo's hard drive. And they thought they were looking at their own.
Ooh,
it's a good one.
that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
So actually, that door that leads to a tunnel is actually like to the aliens that are watching them.
And now we know it came from the ginger IT guy first, right? Because remember he says,
Oh, yeah, he found it.
He's the one that found it, and then eventually
George
he gave it to George's girlfriend, who then George gave it
to George,
Yeah.
right?
So,
But he never does. He mention where he finds it?
No, so that's as far back as we know, at least where the hard drive comes from. But I think we can surmise it came from somewhere else.
If Apple is smart, they should do kind of like a fun little short of like the hard drive's perspective, like its entire life cycle. So like you're just like the hard drive's like eyes.
This has been done before. The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I think in season 3 or season 4, Rick has like a red hatchet,
Mhm.
and they created like a thing that followed the path of this hatchet.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
those are genuinely like very cool and interesting things.
Yeah,
Like,
the only
it's-
problem was people didn't care about Walking Dead, and then they still did.
But wait, at that season, it was still good.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was good. It was definitely declining in quality.
All right, well,
at
this
that
is
point.
about Silo.
All right, let's get into qualifiers for season 2. I want to know from you guys what needs to happen or not happen for you guys to say for season 2 of Silo is good.
Well, we already know yours. It's got to be about the dudes.
Christian, you can kick us off, and then we're done after that. Clearly, don't want to hear our Judas.
Oh man, I mean, you know, we got to get some Juliette. I'm nervous. I'm not nervous, but you know, the one way I can see the show going is that they spend all of season 2 just in the silo that she just left, and we get nothing with Juliette. You save that for a season 3, right? I hope they don't go that route. I don't think they would. So as long as we get some Juliette and we get some answers to the truth of the outside world, I think it will be good. I hope.
He hopes. That's all we can do. All we can do is hope.
All we can do is hope
for the truth.
Optimism. Blind optimism.
The truth will set you free.
What's that from?
Saw.
Oh, very, very cool. That's where our D&D campaign is going to be based on.
No.
Christian starts the D&D campaign with "The truth will set you free."
Well, you must. The three of
that's a
you are
good
locked
idea.
up, but there are only 2 keys. Who stays behind and dies?
So then you ask, does one of the key have the number 18 on it?
Oh man.
Chris is now
Take
rethinking his
notes.
entire.
No, you guys are hitting eerily close to what I have planned.
Wow, the silo
Anyways,
really
push
influenced you.
through. Push
huh?
through.
Oh man. I think for my qualifier, Juna hit the nail on the head. It can only be about the dudes. I don't want to see it. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
All about the Benjamin.
No, I do. I want them to continue the formula that they've got going here, where you know they have a bunch of mysteries. They have a bunch of like cliffhangers that do kind of get resolved episode to episode, in terms of like what is this thing, and then it's resolved before the episode's done. Like I like that because it makes you feel like the story and things are moving and it's going at a good pace, and that allows you to be like, yes, I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for next week. I want to think about what I just saw. So I want to see kind of that same formula work there. And then I do think that this show will end up being probably 3. Like I think it's gonna be 3 seasons at least.
That's what I want 3 seasons at most.
Okay, yeah. I mean, ideally I do, but you know, there's this thing called corporate greed.
Yeah, but that's gonna make me really upset if they just kind of
Yeah.
stretch this show out, because it doesn't. I feel like it's perfectly set up for a 3-season arc.
Yes,
That's what it feels like,
definitely,
right? Like this is the first season. This is like the big reveals and stuff. Continue to open the world out, and then at the 3rd season, it's the conclusion to everything.
Yeah.
I think if they go anything beyond that,
It's overdone.
yeah,
It's
I
just
think
too
so.
much. So with that being said, season 2, I think it needs to have at least one kind of big reveal, similar to what we got at the end of season 1. I don't want to go through season 2 and there not being like a big reveal or a big something or a big kind of like something that explains the world, because if we don't get that, then we are going down the path of this show will never end.
Well,
and it'll be 15 seasons.
It actually kind of feels like a little bit like Attack on Titan.
Yes.
In
it
terms
does.
of the reveals, right? Like every
Right.
season, there was something that was they continue to expand the
world
world,
got
right?
bigger, yeah.
Your understanding of everything changed, and I do feel like this show is kind of built in a similar way, where every episode you add a different layer to the show. You understand a little bit more of the world, and then each season will have that
Bigger
overall bigger reveal as
Right.
well. So, and I would be surprised if that changes for season 2, especially because like the original writer of the books is so heavily involved in the show, is actively helping write the show, right? Is kind of I don't think he's written every single script,
Right.
but I think
He's involved in
I
it,
think
though.
he's leading up the writers room.
Sure.
So like
He also has a
that's
cameo
great.
too.
oh really?
Does he?
Yeah, he's one of the extras in the cafeteria scene at the end when they're watching Juliette go. The big guy who runs Mechanical. There's a shot of him like looking.
Oh right.
And he's right in the background of him.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's so that's what I think. I think like it's hopefully following that arc. If it doesn't, I would be surprised.
Yeah, let's hope.
One
But maybe
can hope.
maybe that they're changing expectations, and the 2nd season is just like a sitcom with Kevin Hart.
It's a multi-cam with a live audience. Was I supposed to write any of that down as your qualifier?
No, that wasn't my qualifier. It was just
Okay.
me piggybacking off of Rabbits a little bit.
Well, that's not
My
fair.
qualifier is simple. They all must die.
Nice.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I wrote it down. It's final.
My qualifier for season 2 is. You guys had really good ones. You guys,
Wow.
we
a little bit.
we took all of yours.
It's all outside of the silo.
My qualifier is there's a silo within the silo on top of the silo. So she's only exited to a larger silo.
I mean, in a
That's
way.
a bold prediction.
I know. No, my qualifier for
That's not a
season
qualifier.
my qualifier for season 2 is maintain the quality. That's it. Very simple.
Easy. Yeah.
Right? Like this, I think this first season had a really high quality and a high bar, and continue that.
So, are you nervous then with what's happening in Hollywood currently, with the Writers Guild
Yes.
currently on strike, the Screen Actors Guild potentially about to strike?
I mean, yeah, I hope they don't cut corners and just take your time. Like, if that means this show, the second season will come out for 3 years, that's better to me than just like, once these wrap up, all right, we got to get this down in the can in like 3 months or whatever. Like, just make sure it just feels like there's a lot of care and attention put into this first season. And I just hope that is put into the second season. It doesn't become like oh my God, it's been 18 months since the first season came out, so we've got to like rush it out and get it out. You know, I feel like they will. Like,
Right.
I'd have nothing concrete to base this off of other than like it is on a streaming service. It's not on a linear channel where it's like every September join us for 24 episodes of 24.
The nice thing too, though, is it's coming from Apple as well, and Apple clearly has a really good track record of never releasing a product too early.
Oh wow! Oh my!
I mean,
are you
worst
referring
ca-
to something specific there?
I mean, there's so many.
Every
there's
single
so-
product
there's
Apple
so many,
has ever
There's
made.
so many like ones to pick from. I mean, the biggest one I think is the iPhone 3G or 3GS with antenna gate, where your hand on when you were holding it a certain way would just block the signal, so you couldn't use the
You're
phone.
holding it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't
Steve
even-
Jobs
I don't
famously
even
came out and was
remember
like,
that.
"You're holding your phone wrong." It's like, what the fuck?
What about .Mac?
Oh, .Mac was a little-
Erased all your stuff, and
Yeah.
Jobs even yelled at him. But it's interesting because that's right. But also, Apple is known for it just works.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, yeah, Apple's reliable.
So then maybe season 2, if it is rushed, someone will come out and be like, "Yeah, it just worked. Don't worry about it."
You're watching it wrong.
You're watching. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Apple will be like, "You're watching."
You're supposed to watch it on 1.5 speed.
Oh,
and skip all 9 episodes and just watch the finale.
Just watch the finale. Watch it in reverse order. It'll make more sense.
It's all right.
Whoa.
Anthony Mackie.
What if that's true?
Anthony Mackie already came out and said,
Oh yeah, this is a great line.
what did he say? Somebody asked him about like, are you worried about the Screen Actors Guild striking? What could potentially happen for Avengers or whatever? And Anthony Mackie said, "Yeah, I'm not that worried. What are you gonna do? Have a bunch of fucking YouTubers acting?"
He
YouTubers
is
and
asking
TikTok
for
stars.
trouble with that statement.
Oh, he's gotten like a lot of people have responded. It's been quite.
I know.
quite
I'm just
funny.
mean like, what if they do that? That'd be horrible.
I wouldn't be surprised. Apple TV, it's their own streaming service. Like, it's great we have unions. It's important to have these things. But at the end of the day, they are evil, gigantic corporations, and they're going to do whatever the hell they want. So,
To quote Mitt Romney, "Corporations are people, my friend."
oh, fucking Mitt Romney.
Some corporations are my very best friends.
What did you say is your best friend corporation?
I would say that probably Apple is my best friend. Judging by the
Should
amount of products
Well,
that
if you like,
surround me on a
we
daily
could turn,
basis.
And content.
I'm not saying it's a good thing.
We could turn Was It Good into a corporation if you'd like.
Was it good?
Yeah.
It could be your best friend corporate. Your
Yeah.
best corporate friend.
Your best corporate friend, was it good?
Was it good?
All right, let's get
Corporate.
into bold predictions here. Krishna, you can kick us off. Because, again, look at your face. Your face says it all. You've got one ready to go.
I could go first if you need more time, Krishna.
Yeah. Go first, you know.
Okay, so
So I
I think
can
I've
steal
alluded
yours.
to this. I think there's more layers. There's more to peel back, right? In terms of what's coming with the show. I think like
Coming.
I think we've gotten obviously the information of okay, maybe the world is dystopian, but I think there's more to it than even what we've seen. Like there's more, right? Is this? I think like we brought up like is the is the atmosphere actually toxic, or is there being poison pumped into them? Right? How much does this go on? How many silos are there? Who put them there? I think there are more layers and twists kind of coming with.
Wait, your bold prediction for Silo is there's more layers and twists.
Or I'll specify it.
Thank you.
My bold prediction is the atmosphere that this dystopian world is not the whole world. That's my bold prediction.
So you think just Atlanta? If it is Atlanta, Georgia, we don't know if it is.
Well,
but
I think
that area is the
I think
broken
this
one.
area might be,
Sure.
but I think there might be another silo or dome or something that is containing this, whether that's real or virtual reality
gotcha.
or on a different planet or something. I think there is another almost exit valve to this world of silos.
Interesting. That reminds me of that show that I don't think you watched it, the Netflix one by the creators of Dark.
Oh,
where they're
right,
on the
right, right.
boat.
Yeah.
1899.
Right. That one has
Sorry,
I'm not going to
Christian.
spoil it, but that one plays with a similar concept, if you will, of escaping reality.
I think there's
and
a
stuff.
box within a box within
Yeah.
a box,
Nice.
essentially.
Oh, wow.
But you got to think outside the box.
to get into the box.
Wait, no, better. You have to think different. There you go. Apple
There's
branding.
no
One
Apple
of-
technology in this show. Please.
Please, is branding up the butt.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go with 2 bold predictions.
What?
No.
One's very simple.
Someone will die in season 2.
Juliette will
the
die.
first bold prediction is kind of a joke, but I do want to put it out there. This show, from the first day, from episode 1, is part of the Visions Pro marketing. And it's
Okay.
going to be revealed, I think, with season 2's release, because I believe Visions Pro will be coming out end of 2024, early 2025.
Can you tell our audience what Visions Pro is?
It's
and me.
Apple's AR VR headset. It's not available currently, not even available for pre-order, but it is. During the initial presentation, a lot of the marketing there was about this idea of kind of escaping reality and merging reality and augmenting reality and all that fun thing. So and I do think that this show is going to somehow tie into that. And I'm not saying they'll show some kind of demo reel or video of the show on the headset or vice versa or whatever. I think there is going to be an actual connection. It might even tie into your bold prediction a little bit about the reality outside of this reality. Truly, maybe they are at the end of season 2. It's going to end where Juliette takes off clearly a Visions Pro headset, right? And that's your Apple product.
Season
placement.
2 actually isn't a linear show. It's you have to buy the headset and you have to interact and move through the world.
Don't say
to
that
figure it
because
out.
that is going to probably be the future of content.
There
where-
is some content like that already.
right, but I think that's going to be potentially the full stop
This
of
is
content.
this is the world that didn't get Vision Pro. This is what happens.
They all siloed themselves.
There you
They
go.
couldn't handle it because they didn't have a vision.
No.
And
They
then I
couldn't
think
live with their own failure.
And then I think my legit bold prediction is going to be we are going to follow quite a bit of Juliette as she kind of bounces around the other silos, and she is going to interact with the other silos, but those silos are not going to be run the exact same way that we see. I'm going to call it Bernard in Silo 18. I think you're going to potentially see dead silos where it's just corpses everywhere because they all
Yeah, for
failed.
sure.
You're going to see silos where everybody actually knows the truth. And they're cool with just living under a rock and being yeah, we don't really want to touch anything. You're going to see, I think, a variety of different ways that societies kind of work with each other. And then it's going to be the big reveal being that it's all part of a weird government experiment. And going back a little bit to yours, that this area is the only kind of devastated area. The rest of the world is just happy-go-lucky.
Malls.
And it's actually the future of reality TV.
On
Doctor Who
that,
episode?
Yeah, that is a Doctor Who episode.
I think following up on that, and is there because you're saying this is the only destroyed area and whatnot, is there something about Georgia that, because I know in Walking Dead, that's wasn't
True.
Atlanta where this CDC was?
Yeah.
Is there a reason that Georgia would be ground zero in the place for
Maybe
this?
that's because where a lot of the film studios are these days.
Okay.
I think.
I don't
I mean, potentially.
but I'm
because
saying, like, is
Yeah,
there
it's a good
like a
question.
nuclear side? Like, is there
Maybe.
a
no,
reason?
that I'm
maybe
aware of.
something.
No, I think it ties into where because the studios are there. Like a lot of Hollywood movies, early movies and shows, the backdrop was always.
That's
LA
why
and
Strange
Los
New
Angeles.
Worlds was in Vancouver when they
Yeah.
went back in time. and-
There's a nuclear power plant near Georgia.
Oh well, there you go then. That's good to know.
Wait, do we have any colliders in the U.S.?
No, the hydrogen collider.
Not that we know of,
Yeah,
Michael.
there you go.
It's in Georgia.
And if you do know, Michael, it was great knowing you. We'll see you around.
I know
guess.
nothing. I
If
know
you
nothing.
see,
I know
if
Do we
Tim
need a new
Robbins
producer?
comes to your door, you should run.
Oh yeah. I will say though, on the nuclear side and all of that, if you look at how the silos are built and the structure and the sheer number of them, I don't think, if humanity did this as a way to protect itself, I don't think it was a quick, sudden decision. Like somebody, surprise, nuclear explosion, everyone run underground. I think whatever the reason for this was a slow build up. Like it took a while. Like somebody knew something was happening. This also reminds me of that show that M. Night Shyamalan did a couple of years ago, where they locked where they locked themselves up in a mountain, but they knew that the world was coming to an end.
Knock at the cabin door.
No, it was a TV show that was streamed on Hulu exclusively. This was a couple of years ago.
Path.
No, not a path. But basically, they locked themselves up because climate change was a thing, and they knew it was going to destroy the world. So they took the best minds and put them in cryopods and let humanity die out for 1,000 years, and then came out, and then everyone turned out to be a Nazi or something. It was a very weird show.
Matt guy and Twin Pines, Lone Pines,
Matt Dillon?
Something Pines.
something Pines.
Yes, something Pines.
Yeah, Matt Dillon was in it. And
Oh,
that's
I do
right.
remember. I remember like the
There's
ads
a whole
for the
mystery.
show.
Why are we trapped in here? And then you're never getting back. You're in the future.
3 Pines. No, not 3 Pines. Wayward Pines.
Wayward Pines.
Yes, Wayward Pines.
I need to finish that show. I only finished season 1.
But yeah, this reminds me a lot of that. So
Interesting.
So I think if humanity put themselves in there, it was because they knew something was coming, but they had the time to build this. Because you can't just build. I mean, look at the Big Dig. Speaking of Mitt Romney earlier, that took like a decade.
Something.
So my bold prediction, I guess, will be the opposite of that. I think it was a sudden disaster, and they're actually living in like missiles. The silos are giant missiles, and and they're living in missiles, and the missiles are directly related to why the world is like this. So probably nuclear. Yeah, maybe they're living in giant nuclear missiles.
Suddenly silo.
So usually, the only thing with that theory is usually a missile silo is only about 10 to 20 levels deep. And we know that these are at least 100.
These are giant missiles.
Yeah, these are giant missiles. So aliens then maybe.
Actually,
Maybe there's a war
yeah.
against
This
an
was
alien
the
base.
intergalactic planetary defense system, and it all went wrong.
Maybe the reason, maybe there's credence to that theory, Krishna, because remember there's the magnifying glasses, and like they're not allowed to have that type of tech. Maybe it's because there's
Beyond
like
a certain power.
maybe there's like stuff on the walls or just around them that could indicate like this is a missile or this is from Russia or I don't know. Like,
Well,
there's
see,
just
What is the
other
deal
things.
with the magnifying?
Yeah,
and the
that's-
cameras.
Well, no,
Cameras.
The
The
machines.
Sure.
They can't have
These
elevators.
machines.
Yeah.
They explained the magnifying glass thing. So here's the thing: computing technology gets smaller, makes it
Right.
more easy to build.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can't look at it, you can't build it.
Right.
So I think the magnifying thing is to limit their technology.
Right.
Because again, it was also the questions, like Juliette's mentor had mentioned, like why is it that we can't build elevators to go from the bottom to the top? Why do we have to walk it? Like, and again, that all comes from like micro computing and that level of technology. So I think it's just again, it's another form of control.
Yeah, Martha
to keep
Walker.
them.
Martha. You know, the same actress plays Rebecca's mom in Ted Lasso.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's also crazy in that too.
She's an Apple TV alum. What can we
There
say?
you go. Well, I mean, hey, it's a good gig. Do you
gig.
think they get free
Is it?
Apple products?
Maybe they get like a gift bag at the end of the year. It's like, here's an iPhone.
I mean, if that's the case,
gift
I'll
card.
become an actor. I love Apple.
That's what's stopping you from being a famous actor.
100%.
The
Damn.
gift bags.
The gift bag.
That's it.
have you ever heard of the
That's
gift
it.
bags they give to the Oscars? Oscar people?
I have, yes,
yeah,
actually.
they're like $1 million bags.
There's a lot. There's a lot
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Actually, tying it back to Apple, I was reading a Verge article, I think, earlier today about how the Vision Pro production is being limited. And a lot of the comments are saying, yeah, they're just building enough so that they can put them in gift bags and give them to celebrities to help build the hype for the product. Marketing strategy. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's what they did with BlackBerry.
Look how that turned out.
They made a movie about it.
And we did an episode about that movie. You can
did.
find it in our library of older videos.
Which is kept in
Or-
the silo.
Or podcasts.
Or
All right.
podcasts.
I
if
think
you're
it's
on
that
Spotify.
time. I think it's that time because we do have to go and celebrate soon.
Right. Celebrate going outside.
Yes.
And
'Cause we can
Freedom.
do it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We need to go clean.
Yeah, we're going
Arjuna.
to Juliette ourselves.
Arjuna was Apple TV's Silo Season 1. Going outside.
Go outside.
Good.
Yes, it was good, and it might be my favorite show of the year. Might be my favorite piece of content of the year, honestly. Though I have to withhold. I did start The Bear, and I have really enjoyed season 2 so far, so that might change.
Ooh, interesting.
But yes, Silo was very, very good.
What was that pause?
It was
Did your brain
it was
just-
dramatic.
No, it looked
Short
like your
circuit?
brain just went, boom.
No, it was
Yeah,
dramatic.
we were like,
Do you want some coffee?
Dramatic.
Hot chocolate?
freeze all motor functions.
Ooh, I don't want more sugar. That's gonna put me to sleep.
I thought it gives you a sugar high.
Yeah, then
Run
you
around.
crash,
Then you crash.
immediately.
Do you want some protein? An
Yes,
egg?
protein.
Maybe, yeah.
Or a hash brown?
Oh yeah, a little egg with a hash brown in
Ooh,
it.
bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit
Yeah.
without the bacon.
Without the bacon.
Yeah.
Hold the bacon. Hold
Or
the egg.
biscuit
Hold
or the egg.
Yeah. Just give me air.
Just give me some hair.
A breatharian.
Krishna was Silo season 1. Good.
Yes, it was. It was really good. Great mystery. Episode 3 was a standout in terms of tension. Wow. Was I on the edge of my seat? That was the one where they were trying to fix the generator, and that was
I for sure
that was a
thought
great episode.
I for sure
of
thought
television.
Juliette's shadow was going to be ripped to pieces.
Oh,
Same.
I was like, this
same.
kid
100%.
is going to get
I was like, that
yeah.
kid's
killed.
dead.
It's going to be
But
a
he lived.
brutal murder.
The
Of
show
all the people that they killed, that's the one who didn't die.
This show wasn't too graphic. Like when I first started, I was like, maybe this is like a really dark dystopian graphic show, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Too
Yeah, it
bad.
wasn't what you would typically expect.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Rafi
Mm-hmm.
was Silo good? Season 1.
Yes, it was good, and I want to take credit for you all watching it.
No.
You're welcome. I am the best at recommending Apple TV shows that have massive amounts of marketing material behind them. It was all me. You're welcome.
Wow,
Congratulations.
you're really you in the Apple marketing team because you lead the Apple marketing team.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying,
definitely.
right?
Oh,
you
yeah,
did a great
100%.
job.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Can I have those free Apple products now?
Fuck no. You get Microsoft products.
No!
Here's your Zune.
But the fact that you want them says that he's doing a great job.
Oh boy. And with that, that's going to do it for us here on our podcast, the Was It Good podcast. We just finished Silo Season 1. As always, you can find us on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok at Was It Good Pod, on Twitter if you're still there at Was It Good. Our full episodes are on youtube.com/wasitgood. Definitely check out our website, wasitgood.info. I believe, and somebody jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, our next podcast will be Bear Season 2,
That is the plan
and it will be out
Was
later
the
this
plan.
week.
on the
So,
weekend.
Good day.
Good day.